On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
And we're back from the Olympics, you guys, and we cleared it.
We took gold. We were in the coffin races, if you guys didn't know.
Yes, they don't typically show our segment on television, but it was...
It was pretty incredible. I did catch air. There was at one point where I really thought like, oh God, this is it. And then this year, I mean, you know this, they let up on not on the rules per se, but they let us have a little bit more like artistic freedom with our coffins.
Yeah.
And I added the flames to the back.
Which I thought was cool until the ice started melting.
I thought
behind.
it was going to be, I thought it was going to be like curling, like you kind of have to melt the ice, make it go faster. And so that's what I thought. But I sank and then I caught air. I almost caught a tree on fire, but we did it.
We were not invited to the White House, which I found a little strange. A little peculiar because, it's custom. Really, I remember back in the day when Lyndon B. Johnson was in the house, this wouldn't have happened.
But you know what? What are you going to do? I'm really proud of our team. I'm so proud of the sponsors too. The embalming fluid that they sent, I feel like was incredible.
I've been using it actually on my gold medal.
To shine it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
I've been drinking it, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, we made history.
We did. We history.
Walked into the Winter Olympics 2026 and we sat down with the president of the Olympics and we said, we want to make history. That's exactly what we did.
We did.
Hi. I am so disappointed. I woke up, you guys, and I should have known this because we did an episode on estate sales. This morning, I'm laying in bed. Champ is out of town. He's in LA for work. So I'm holding down the fort with the dogs. I'm laying in bed this morning and I'm just, scrolling. Okay.
Scrolling, yeah.
Dad's not home. I'm going to wake up and look at TikTok. And on my For You page is this video, and it's like, we're doing an estate sale in Nashville. It starts on Thursday, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that is today. That is, in fact, today. Mm-hmm. And so I get up, have my coffee. I take the dogs on the fastest walk of their life. We did our normal route, but we're going 2-speed, baby, because I'm like, Daddy has got to get down to that estate sale and see what is good. And it was like 8:20, right? And it opened at 9. So I'm going. I drive down to where the estate sale is, and there's a line of cars, but it's kind of near Lipscomb University. And so there's a lot of people getting dropped off. Like there's all these schools over there. So there's all this shit going on. I'm like, okay, I got this. This line surely cannot be for this estate sale. And it was.
Well, I feel like, Thursdays are always the first day for like a big weekend estate sale, you know?
And so, but I was still undeterred. Okay, I'm fucking going. And so I drive around a different way, find parking, walk over. The line is incredibly long, but I'm chopping it up with the gals in there. Okay, it's me and a bunch of moms. And I'm like, it's your first time? Like, you've been to this one before?
What are we looking for? Are we on the hunt for something? Yeah.
And the TikTok I had seen only had like, I think like 30 likes or something. So I was under the impression that I'm like, I'm one of few.
I've struck a gold mine. No one's going to know about this.
Wrong. They take those seriously in the South.
Yeah, they do. Oh, yeah.
I was like talking to them and they were like, no, next time we got to go. Like we're friends now.
I love it.
They're like, okay, we got to go up about an hour and a half to blah, blah, blah. And we're going to fucking strike there and like all this shit. And so I was in line for a good hour and I was getting closer and closer and closer and closer. But I had to be home to let someone in to do something at the house at 11. And it was like 10:20. And I was like, I'm still probably 30 minutes away from the door. And so I had to leave. And I was like, well, we were all standing there and we're like, okay. I was like, I sent my fiance a picture when we were by this Jeep over here. And now we're over here. And that was like about an hour ago. So I was like, it's probably going to be another hour to the door. And so me and the two ladies that were on either side of me were like, all right, let's dip. Let's call it. And so we left.
Can you go back tomorrow?
Maybe. I don't even know if I want to, because honestly, every person that we saw leaving was leaving empty-handed. One girl walked out with a chair and the lady behind me is like, well, I saw the tag on that chair was $200. And so we're like, this is going to be, it was like an organized estate sale. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, bring me back to the days. Like when I used to live in the Bay Area, I used to go to estate sales in Oakland a lot. And it was literally just like, there'd be a shitty sign or someone would post on like Craigslist or something like estate sale this weekend. And that's how you found it. And like, I think I haven't experienced estate sales in a social media world.
Well, yeah, that absolutely. I feel like, well, we talked about this on your estate sale episode. It is a whole business. People camp out. People reserve spots. People, like I have a lady that will text me. She has like a company. She will text me like when she's having estate sales. But it's still like, you're brave to go on a Thursday. Like I would go Saturday, Sunday, even if unless I had my eye on something and I knew this is the game plan, this is what I need. So maybe you could go on Sunday. Everything would be half off.
Maybe I'll check it out. I mean, we'll see. I wasn't sold on it. There was nothing in particular. It wasn't like, oh, this is a house full of mid-century or this is this. It was more just like I wanted to look and be in someone's house. But I will say, if anyone's in the Nashville area and you've got like the hookup, I'll gatekeep. I promise that. I'll share everything online. I share so much, but I will gatekeep an estate sale. So if you want to give me privy, I'll accept that privilege.
Right. Charge me a little bit more admission. You know?
I'll pay.
I'll pay. Yeah.
I'll pay. You let me walk in there the night before, I'll pay.
I know. And I do just love to look at people's houses.
Oh, that's what I was excited for, because it was kind of a cool house and old, and I wanted to go look around.
Absolutely. Wait, speaking of things for sale and houses,
I
actually have the perfect segue with this listener email.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's so fun. Spencer,
is it going to make us cry again?
No, it will not make us cry. It will not make us cry, but it's going to make us wish we lived somewhere else. So this says, hi, Spencer, Madison, and all the pups. My name is Heather, and I'm writing to you from the small and very rainy Lake District in England. First of all, I just want to say thank you for everything you do on Obituary. You both genuinely keep me company while I'm at work, and I look forward to each episode like I'm about to catch up with friends.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Thanks, Heather. I started listening from the very beginning, so I'm currently making my way through 2024 episodes, which means by the time I finally catch up to real time and potentially hear this email read out, I will absolutely shit my pants, respectfully. So on to my story. The other night, I was doing what I absolutely did not need to be doing, scrolling house listings despite being perfectly happy where I live. And I came across something that stopped me dead in my tracks, a church. Now listen, not just any church, a church that you can buy. And when you buy it, you also get the graveyard. Oh, Yes, a full, actual headstone-filled graveyard included in the purchase. No homeowners association, just eternal residence.
Oh my God.
I truly had to sit there and process the idea of hosting a summer barbecue while being overlooked by Gregory, 1832 to 1897. Imagine mowing the lawn and having to carefully trim around 47 gravestones. Sorry, kids, can't kick the football too hard. You'll take out a Victorian. The listing genuinely described it as having beautiful surrounding grounds, which feels like a bold marketing choice when those grounds are already very occupied. Do you plant flowers? Do you not plant flowers? Is it disrespectful to install a trampoline? Where does one draw the line between property owner and accidental caretaker of the afterlife? The funniest part to me is picturing going to view the property and the real estate agent saying, "There's a lovely space round the back which would make a beautiful garden," as though the garden isn't primarily graves. After many nights of trying to persuade my husband that this was obviously our destiny and a completely reasonable purchase, I regret to inform you he was not quite as keen on the idea as I was. Apparently, owning a graveyard is where he draws the line. Weak. I'm including some pictures of the church along with the listing link because honestly, it may take your fancy, and who knows, we could potentially be neighbors in the near future.
Love it.
I know. Imagine the live show possibilities. Also, I was recently in New York and absolutely dragged my poor husband around numerous bookshops on a mission to find your book. Could I have very easily ordered it on Amazon when I got back to England? Yes, but where is the drama? Where is the commitment? Where's the unnecessarily chaotic holiday activity if I'm not power walking through Manhattan, insisting one more bookstore until I found it? Worth it. So very worth it. Thank you for writing the best book ever. Also, apologies for the absolute length of this email. Clearly, I had thoughts, feelings, and a graveyard to unpack. Thank you again for keeping me company while I'm delivering post in the wind and rain. Trudging up hills is much more enjoyable with you two in my ears. Please never stop being so gloriously macabre. All my love from a true Geoff, Heather.
Oh, Heather, I love you and I love your commitment. Thank you so much for buying our book. And if you need a divorce lawyer,
hey, we'll
help you.
Yeah, we can totally help you. But Heather, I love you. I love your writing. She included pictures of the whole property, which we will
Please
post.
Send. Yeah.
It is beautiful and quaint and so green and lush, and it's a church. Oh God, it's so wonderful.
Oh
it's
my God.
so wonderful. I want it.
I want it. Let us have it, please. No, I think it's good. Like, I think there's a Geoff in a relationship and there's a Geoff. The Geoff wants the cemetery. The Geoffs will typically, maybe they're a little more pragmatic.
Totally. I agree. One needs to keep the other one grounded.
Yeah.
But by grounded, I mean 6 feet under in the ground. Let's get the cemetery.
Go digging. Grab the shovel. Also, I'm thinking, like, God, this would be the perfect house for a murderer to live in. Just bury the body.
That's so true. And also, I'd assume you'd get some tax benefits as it's a church.
True.
Maybe no
something.
Property tax?
Or at least the cemetery. Isn't that why Trump threw Ivana in the golf course?
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Is that allegedly what happened here? Well, speaking of funerals, Madison, I have an Am I the Asshole that is asking us, am I the asshole? Should I let my ex bring his new girlfriend to my dad's funeral?
Okay.
It says, my ex-husband and I were together for 16 years and have a son, 13. At the time, my ex and the rest of my son's family lived about 4 hours away, near my parents. That February, my dad died, and it was very difficult. My son called his dad and told him, but didn't ask him to come to the funeral. He just figured he would. So I called him and told him that not only was he welcome, it would mean a lot to us, and he said yes. We talked a little before he surprised me by saying he'd bring his girlfriend. When I paused, he asked if I was upset. I've never met her before, and in the couple of years that they were off and on going out, he never introduced us. So I felt it would be really awkward. My son didn't care if she came because he said their PDA made him uncomfortable. So I told him I'd rather he not bring her, and he was offended. He thought that because she was part of his life, she should be able to come. Am I the asshole because I said no? Should he have even expected that?
I don't think you're the asshole. I think you can say who you want to come, but I guess I just need a little more context. Like, is she a very serious girlfriend that's been in his life for a long time? I don't know.
It says on and off for the past couple of years, so, but I don't know. I think there's no harm in letting her come. Or I guess I would just try and figure out the feelings around why. Like, okay, is this actually because I don't know her, or is it because I feel weird that she's dating my ex?
Yeah,
you know?
Totally. Which are all things that you don't need to be thinking about at your dad's funeral.
Yeah, fully.
You know?
Fully.
I'm like, if I were the husband, or the ex-husband, I'd be like, I'm not even going to ask. Like, just, you can stay home. I'll be there quickly. I'm just going to be there to see my son, support.
Yeah, is this how you want to meet, you know?
I know.
The person I co-parent my child with. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
All right, well, this next one says, am I the asshole? I lent my cousin my dad's tools. It says, my dad died over 2 decades ago. He was a mechanic and had all nice tools, even by today's standards. My narcissistic mom tried to sell them while I was away. You can use pliers, screwdrivers, wrenches, and other tools around the house. Every time I use them, I fondly remember my dad and all of the good times we had together, fixing our cars and things around the house. My cousin was working on an old car and didn't have many good tools, and I thought, well, no one's using these tools. They could be put to good use restoring that car. His wife and I didn't get along well until a few years ago. Something happened, I took the high road and helped her out. Now we get along. But I think if something happened to my cousin, she would sell off the tools and stuff, my dad's tools included. So I took pictures of them and printed out a little contract saying these are my tools, and if something happens to my cousin, please return them to me. My cousin knows how close I was to my dad. The whole family loved my dad. He got a little pissy when I asked him to sign the paper. I calmly explained to him, just like I did to you. I told him if it was such a big deal to him, I'd just not loan him the tools. I didn't want something to come between us, and he said, no, that's okay, I'll sign it. I know he's used the tools on that car. I've tried multiple times to ask him to hang out. I drove a 70-mile round trip every time to go see him because he doesn't want to be bothered to drive into the city. Every time I text him, he says no with the same excuse and some undertone. I texted him this week reminding him that he was supposed to contact me, and he blatantly says that he knows he was supposed to contact me. And finally, I'm like, hey, I haven't seen you since I lent you my dad's tools. It's been over a year. What's going on? He goes off about me having him sign that paper. Last time I saw him, I was late when I met him at his place. I take care of my elderly mom, and sometimes things happen. I apologized and explained what happened, and he knows that I take care of her, but he doesn't get it because he put his mom in a home and walked away. I've put up with him being passive-aggressive about not meeting up for quite a while. He texted me and said, we don't need to see each other. We can just talk on the phone. What the hell? My family's dying off every year and I'm trying to stay in contact with who I have left. But I'm tired of this. I told him to just give me back the tools and we don't ever have to talk again. I feel like no good deed goes unpunished. Am I the asshole?
I don't think you're an asshole, but I do think that if it were me and I had something that was so valuable to me, whether it be tools, whether it be whatever, that I had to have somebody sign a contract to use them, I would just not
do it.
Offer them.
Yep.
At all. You put yourself in this weird position.
Yeah.
And people are going to react in a weird way. Like, whether I get it. Sometimes people don't realize how much something means to you, and it's a tool, it's a wrench, it's a hammer, whatever. Oh, I'll give it back to her whenever. But like, it obviously means a lot to you, but they're going to take offense like, oh, you think I'm going to do something? You think I'm not going to return it? You think I'm going to sell it off?
Already had beef with the wife too. So
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you think she's going to sell him? You know, if something happens to me. So I get that as well. And I feel exactly the same as you, where if it was important to me, I would not loan it out. And that's for any, it could be a piece of jewelry. It could be it's the silliest thing. And I still would probably be like, no, I don't. Because if it means that much that you have to have a contract,
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it sounds like this person just offered it. Like, it wasn't like the cousin was like, hey, I really need this tool.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like It's hard. I don't think this person's an asshole. I think their intentions are really good.
Sure.
But it's just one of those things like that will create tension.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, not the asshole, but maybe it's one of those like everyone sucks here types of situations where it's like he sucks for cutting contact with you about it. And you suck for making him sign a contract. Contracts are weird. Because it's like, what are you, okay, are you going to sue me? You're going to sue my wife if you don't get these tools back?
Yeah.
Because if I was the cousin, I'd be like, actually, this is why the cousin's also not the perfect angel here. Because if I was the cousin and I got presented with that contract, I'd be like, dude, I'm going to just try and look online for some used tools or something. Like, I don't want to fucking mess these up if they're that. I didn't realize how important they were to you. Like,
right.
Because then maybe the relationship could have been salvaged, but I think they were both kind of immature about it.
These better be some fucking tools, man. These better be some tools that you can't get anywhere else. Because if it's over a hammer and a wrench, everyone's an idiot.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the assholes.
Oh, okay. Well, I am up first this week, which means you should also have a side bitch.
I do, and this is from the Morning Call, Monday, May 30th, 1960. And it says, Mrs. Miller dies at 99, leaves 99 survivors.
Oh.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's it?
No. That's just the headline of the obituary.
I'm like, that's so ominous.
It says Mrs. Sarah Hagsma Miller, 99, wife of the late William Miller, died yesterday morning in her home at 56 Orard Street in St. Midland Park after a lengthy illness. She leaves 99 survivors. Born in the Netherlands, June 28, 1860, she was the daughter of the late Schwart and Anna de Jong Hagsma. Her husband died in May of 1921. Mrs. Miller made her home in Midland Park for 60 years and was a member of the Midland Park Christian Reformed Church. Lists the funeral services, and it says, in lieu of flowers, it is the wish of the family to send contributions to the Back to God Hour, box 773, whatever. And then it lists the surviving, and it lists them, but it adds 26 grandchildren, 54 great-grandchildren, and 11 great-great-grandchildren. And I've just never seen this amount of survivors numbered before. I'm like, yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's cool.
God.
Love that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to hear what had you spinning in your coffin this week, girly.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
All right, Geoffs. I thought that this week I would dive into something really light and fluffy and sweet. Just kidding. We are talking about doomsday, actually.
Perfect. It's around the corner. I can feel it.
I know. Well, actually, it is. We'll get into it, though. So I feel like the end of the world has been predicted a lot. Like, there have been quite a few times throughout my life where different calendars have ended. And I don't know, I thought maybe, this was it. And the first, like, when I started to write this, the first thing that I thought of was Y2K.
Of course.
And if you were around for that, you remember people acting like shit was going to hit the fan, airplanes were going to fall out of the sky, like it was chaos. And then in 2012, there was the Mayan calendar ending. And at that time in my life, it was pre-Lexapro, and I was very, very anxious. And so I definitely had thoughts of like, okay, well, this will be wild. This might be the end, But, and humans, like, I don't blame us for this. We love a good prediction, especially like the end of something. I feel like, I don't know, we're just so curious. So I don't blame us for it, but there are a ton of predictions. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the doomsday clock. Have you heard about the doomsday clock?
Very minimal information.
Okay, same. I feel like I heard it like just in passing or social media or, whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't know too much about it. But for the last few years, I feel like I've seen it talked about more and more. So that's what had me spinning in my coffin today, the doomsday clock.
Okay, let's hear it.
So this episode, before I totally jump in, I was like thinking to myself, and I was like, what episode would pair really nicely with this episode? Like it's a food or a wine or something. And I definitely think that the episode where we talk about doom towns, I think it's in the 140s. I want to say 145, but that episode we cover fake towns used by the government for all sorts of trainings and testing of nuclear bombs. And I also cover Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project. I think that episode would pair really nicely with this one because we're going to talk a lot about nuclear war. And Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project are kind of why we have the doomsday clock.
Okay.
The doomsday clock is an actual clock, not like a physical one on the wall, but it is a clock design. And it was created by scientists that measures how close we are to global catastrophe. It doesn't like tick on its own or anything like that. Like that's symbolic, but scientists move the hands of it to represent the end of the world. For the first 50 years, it was based pretty much only on nuclear risk, but things have been added to it since, which we will get into. There's like a whole list of things. But it's important to know, like, it's not astrology, it's not a conspiracy theory. It actually is based on science, and it's been around since 1947. Once the clock strikes midnight means the end of civilization. And right now, we're closer to midnight than we've ever been since the inception of this clock. We're seconds. We're counting in seconds now, not minutes.
Got it.
I'll tell you guys exactly where we're at later on. But before I talk about all of that, I want to rewind to the beginning. So we're going to go back to 1945. World War II is ending, and the United States drops an atomic bomb on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan. We talk about this in that episode I said that paired nicely. Little Boy was the bomb dropped over Hiroshima, killing 70,000 people. 3 days later, Fat Man was the bomb that was dropped on Nagasaki, killing 40,000 people. Also, many people who ended up surviving died months and years later from the radiation sickness. It was terrible. And these bombs that were built for this attack were built by scientists. And they had been working on the Manhattan Project, which was really like a race to develop nuclear weapons before Nazi Germany did. And they succeeded. And it seemed, though, that they saw the destruction that it caused. And many of the scientists were horrified and obviously felt a sense of like, oh, fuck, I created this or I helped create this.
Yeah.
They definitely helped end the war. But they had unlocked something equally terrifying. They gave the ability to humans to literally destroy entire civilizations. Again, the Doomtown episode, I go into detail about the Manhattan Project. And I remember I loved that episode because it went in depth more about the scientists' like living conditions during the Manhattan Project. Like they had built their own little town with schools and churches and whatever where they could live.
As a girl who loved The Sims, I can see why you would love that.
Loved The Sims.
Wait, remember when, this was back when I was still like a working man.
Yes.
And I would go work at this coffee shop in Long Beach all the time. And like you would come and meet me there and I'd be like sending emails and like making little Excel sheets and you'd be sitting next to me with your computer, but you were playing The Sims on it.
Girl, I was busy. I was building
She
houses.
was booked and busy.
I was building houses, decorating. I had kids. I had families I was taking care of. I was doing more than you.
Oh.
Okay. More important.
Period.
More important, period. Okay. So in late 1945, some of those scientists form an organization called the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. And are you raising your hand?
Yeah, are those the same scientists that worked on the Doom Towns?
I believe so.
Okay.
Some of them, yeah. They are physicists, climate scientists later, security experts, and even former policy advisors. And their mission was simple. They wanted to warn the public about nuclear danger. Also, they pushed for international control of atomic weapons, like, basically prevent total global annihilation.
It could have gone crazy. I mean, it still is like the basis of a lot of war, but like imagine if everyone could have just that's why there's obviously all the agreements and stuff now, but like they could have fucking just ended it all.
I know. Cisco and I talk about that actually a lot because I get nervous about, it's scary. It's scary when you hear like, oh, one person can just press a button and end it all. But the MAD, or like mutually assured destruction, is a concept where like now a lot of countries have nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, if you do that, well, then they do that. Everybody's fucking going down. So It's like there's a lot of reason not to. But
and it's just great that all of our world leaders are so sensible,
Oh, wonderful. Yes, absolutely. I get into that because I'm like, scientists were like, fuck, like we built these nuclear bombs. Now we feel a responsibility and we don't fully trust politicians to, act right.
Yup. Same.
Scary. I know. I think everybody collectively, whether you're whatever political party you're a part of, is like, yeah, I don't fully trust these people.
No, girl. We're not trusting the government in 2026.
No, honey, never. Okay, so in 1947, for the cover of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist magazine, they wanted something symbolic on the cover that would capture a sense of urgency. So an artist named Martel Langsdorff designed the cover, and she drew a clock for the cover, like an analog clock that has, the two arms. She sets the time to 7 minutes before midnight. And midnight, like I said earlier, symbolizes total destruction. But she actually later said, like, 7 minutes didn't mean anything. It just kind of looked good on the paper. Like, it looked really balanced.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It stuck, though. And that was how the doomsday clock was born. And at first it was symbolic, like on the cover, there's a sense of urgency, whatever. But then the Cold War began and it like took on a whole different life form and the clock starts moving towards midnight. So the Cold War begins shortly after World War II ends. World War II ended in 1945. The Cold War began in 1947. The Cold War is between the United States and the Soviet Union. They never actually declared war on each other. That's why it's called a Cold War.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was cold there.
Cold or something. No, it didn't end until 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed.
And the year
that you were born.
Profit? You decide.
Profit, maybe. But yeah, they just beefed. Like we beefed with the Soviet Union for 40 something years.
Damn, girl.
We just had constant tension with each other. We were trying to build bigger nuclear arsenals. We were each stockpiling weapons, the whole space race, like who was going to get to space first.
Yeah.
We threatened each other. Yeah. But 44 years until 1991 when the Soviet collapsed. But the Cold War beginning makes the doomsday clock move in 1949 from 7 minutes to midnight to 3 minutes to midnight. From the bulletin.org website, each time they move the clock, they put out like a whole statement on why.
Okay, wait though. 3 minutes till midnight?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get into that confusion
a
little bit later because it's symbolic. It doesn't matter if it's 7 minutes or whatever. Like it starts at 7 minutes. That's where we were in 1945. It's basically just saying, hey, we're getting closer and closer.
And it never goes the other way.
It does. I'll talk about that.
Okay.
It'll move back too. The bulletin says, quote, in the fall, at a remote site in Central Asia, the Soviet Union explodes a nuclear device, the design of which is very similar to that of the bomb that the United States used on Japan 4 years earlier. The Soviets deny the test, but U.S. President Harry Truman shares the news with the American public about it, and the arms race begins. The bulletin explains, we do not advise Americans that doomsday is near and that they can expect atomic bombs to start falling on their heads a month or year from now, but we think they have reason to be deeply alarmed and to be prepared for grave decisions. So that was their bulletin. And then we're going to go to 1953 because this is fucking scary. I've always heard the Cuban Missile Crisis referenced. Never really knew what it was about. So in 1952, the United States starts testing its first hydrogen bomb. And if you thought, atomic bombs were terrifying, the hydrogen bomb is fucking scary. The hydrogen bomb wasn't just stronger than the atomic bomb, it was way more powerful in its destruction. So in 1952, the United States starts testing its first hydrogen bomb. In 1953, the Soviet Union starts testing their hydrogen bomb. So if the atomic bomb is destroying entire cities, the hydrogen bomb is destroying entire regions.
Got it.
Fucking scary. And this is when the doomsday clock moves to 2 minutes to midnight. And this is also like in the, 1953, this is when American culture, I feel like, really shifts to like that nuclear anxiety. People are building bomb shelters. Like, remember Blast from the Past? They built that bomb
Brendan
shelter.
Fraser. So good.
Yes. Kids are doing like duck and cover drills in school. And I remember talking about that with a family member because we have different drills now. But like they were doing, okay, if a nuclear bomb drops, this is what you guys have to do. Like, it's so wild to think about. Then in 1960, the clock actually goes back to 7 minutes. I guess tensions were slightly easing. The US and the Soviet Union are in more discussions about like arms control. But then in 1963, this is where I wanted to talk about the Cuban Missile Crisis, because in 1963, the clock moves back even further to 12 minutes to midnight. But this is because the US and the Soviet Union sign a treaty that bans nuclear testing underwater, in space, and in the atmosphere. And this was because the Cuban Missile Crisis was a year prior, and the Cuban Missile Crisis is basically the U.S. discovered that the Soviet Union was secretly placing nuclear missiles in Cuba. And it was like 90 miles off of Florida. And they were going to fuck us up.
Damn.
I know. So that caused them to finally like sign a treaty. Anyway, you get the picture. The clock moves back and forth. And over the next few decades, it literally ticks closer to midnight, then goes back. Then closer, then back. It wasn't until 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed, the Cold War officially ended, and the doomsday clock ticked back to 17 minutes to midnight. So this is the furthest it's been since its inception. Then in 2007, for the first time in history, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists added climate change to its calculations. That year, the clock was moved to 5 minutes to midnight, not just because of nuclear risk, but now because global temperatures are rising. And over the next decade, the clock keeps getting closer and closer to midnight. There's still nuclear tests happening. Like North Korea was conducting nuclear tests. A lot of places were. And then in 2015, it moves to 3 minutes to midnight, which it hadn't been that close since the 1980s. And I guess scientists cited for that it was because of nuclear weapons, because of a lack of meaningful climate action, and political instability. Then in 2018, it moves to 2 minutes to midnight, which is like back to 1953 levels. And then 20 happens. and they move from minutes to seconds. So 2020 was 100 seconds to midnight. Basically, we were very fragile. It was a combination of nuclear tensions, climate crisis, emerging technology like AI, political unrest, and then obviously COVID. But yeah, when you do look back at 2020, we were so fragile. Like, it does make sense that we would go from minutes to seconds, but it was just updated January 2026, and the doomsday clock is closer than it's ever been in its history. We're at 85 seconds to midnight. Closer than the hydrogen bomb era, closer than the height of the Cold War. We are close. I want to read their statement from this update. It says, quote, "A year ago, we warned that the world was perilously close to global disaster and that any delay in reversing course increased the probability of catastrophe. Rather than heed this warning, Russia, China, and the United States and other countries have instead become increasingly aggressive, adversarial, and nationalistic. Hard-won global understandings are collapsing, accelerating a winner-takes-all great power competition, and undermining the international cooperation critical to reducing the risks of nuclear war, climate change, the misuse of biotechnology, the potential threat of artificial intelligence, and other apocalyptic dangers. Far too many leaders have grown complacent and indifferent, in many cases adopting rhetoric and policies that accelerate rather than mitigate these existential risks. Because of this failure of leadership, the Bulletin of the Atomic Science and Security Board today set the doom clock to 85 seconds to midnight, the closest it has ever been to catastrophe." So, with all of that, I do have to say, it is scary to see this. However, this organization has been called alarmist and that they oversimplify pretty complex issues, which is fair. And I read a thread on Reddit that I have to read to you because I do agree in some aspect. Someone wrote on True Unpopular Opinion on Reddit. They said, "The doomsday clock is fucking stupid. It's in the news again today, like every media outlet in the entire country. And it's reminding me how fucking dumb it is. The damn clock started out at 7 minutes to midnight, only 2 years out from an actual nuclear attack on a city, and now it somehow makes the news when they move it 1 second. The scale is stupid. Why make it a clock that has 1,440 minutes and then only use 17 minutes of it? It would have been more impactful if they used the whole fucking clock and actually move it in significant amounts. To me, it doesn't feel a lot different than some crazy megachurch pastor guessing when the end of the world is going to be. They've essentially kept the clock right at midnight for 78 years, so if something happens, then they can say they told you so. What happens when they run out of seconds and the world isn't over? I'm guessing they moved to milliseconds, so it will have even less meaning," which I totally agree with, but I also know that the clock is symbolic. It's meant to communicate urgency in a way that people will understand. Basically, like, hey, here's the data and here's what it suggests about
There's
risk.
too many factors. I think it's fear mongering, and I want to know who's funding them. That's what I want to know, because it does feel like that. Girl, I don't know. I've got my tinfoil hat on ever since those damn Epstein files came out and they were talking about a pandemic and stuff.
Shit.
I'm like,
that's true.
You know what? I don't fucking believe anything now. So
that's true.
I don't believe anything and I believe everything. So
yeah,
take that as you will.
I just think like the clock isn't prophecy, obviously. Like, it's measuring behavior. And you can't deny that the behavior, I guess especially right now, feels like we're closer than we have been.
You can't predict the end of the world. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. I think it's stupid, if I'm being so honest. I do. I'm like, give me a break. You don't fucking know.
Did you write that Reddit?
Bring me to midnight, bitch. I'm done. Let's end it all.
He's done, girl. Oh, God. Well, we'll see. We might have to have a big collective obituary one day. Who knows?
Yeah. Who writes the obituary? If everyone's dead, can an obituary be written? I don't know. Probably by AI once they kill us all.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, there you go.
There we go. All right. Well, fantastic. We have Doomsday to look forward to. Thank you, Madison.
And you're so welcome.
I think it's time we take another quick break to go turn back our clocks for doomsday.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in your coffin this week?
Well, girly, I came across a post online and it's a photograph of the contents of Lyndon B. Johnson's pockets from when he passed away back in 1973 from a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
And I thought that was really interesting. You know, I'm a big Lyndon guy myself. Well, did I tell you this? That back in, this might be an obituary exclusive. I don't know if I've talked about this on here, but back in 5th grade, I dressed up as him and did a whole life presentation on his life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
It had to have been like a president thing or something.
Yeah, totally.
Or I was just
going.
Actually, I don't know because I think Amelia Earhart was there, so I might have just loved.
Probably just public figures.
Yeah.
That were influential or something.
And I said Lyndon B. Johnson.
Cool.
Love it. And I thought that was actually so cool though, because I feel like it brings out that morbid curiosity of like, well, yeah, what was in his pockets? And so there were some Winston menthol cigarettes.
Love.
In there. And a pair of those like clip-on aviator like thing that you put them on your glasses to make them into sunglasses. He had Wrigley's Double Mint chewing gum, 3 toothpicks, Sunstick, which I think is a chapstick.
Okay.
He had a Vicks inhaler.
Oh.
Like a nasal inhaler, and then a little comb.
Oh, wow. Heavy pockets.
Yeah.
Get a purse.
My God, were you wearing cargo pants, Lyndon B. Johnson? My God. But it did get me thinking, I'm like, what would be most likely in my pockets if I died?
Oh, I mean, I think it would be purse for me. I don't really have pockets, but I have a shit ton of things in my purse. Like Mary Poppins.
My pockets, I would say there's usually a paper towel.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I always have one, like, I don't know, blow your nose or whatever.
Okay.
Usually a Rogue dog poop bag.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Also probably a toothpick a lot of times. And then depending on if the champ's in town or not. If he's not in town, there's probably a lighter in my pocket. But they talked about another president, and I don't know. Did we ever talk about what was in Abraham Lincoln's pockets?
I don't know.
Because I somehow knew this, kind of, but I was like, this feels so familiar to me, but maybe we all don't remember, or maybe we didn't. But I'm going to tell you, they had it on the Library of Congress or whatever online, you know? So they had... in his pockets, Abraham Lincoln, gold-rimmed spectacles with sliding temples and with one of the bows mended with string. 1 pair of folding spectacles in a silver case, an ivory pocket knife with silver mounting, a watch fob of gold-bearing quartz, which I think is just like a pocket watch.
Yeah.
Mounted in gold, an oversized white Irish linen handkerchief with A. Lincoln embroidered in red cross stitch. A sleeve button with a gold initial L on dark blue enamel, a brown leather wallet, including a pencil lined in purple silk with compartments for notes, U.S. currency, and railroad tickets. The wallet held a Confederate $5 bill and 8 newspaper clippings. The clippings were from papers printed immediately before Lincoln's death, containing complimentary remarks about him written during his campaign for re-election to presidency.
Love.
The Confederate $5 bill may have been acquired as a souvenir when Lincoln visited Petersburg and Richmond earlier that month. Love that. I'm going to print out like a nice article about us.
Love.
Keep that in my pocket in case I die.
Well, I think I said this last episode, like Mary Todd Lincoln, she was woo-woo. So maybe it was like, you know.
Like a superstitious thing.
Like a manifesting thing.
Yeah.
Like good vibes, you know?
Love that. They also had on that website, we'll post the picture on YouTube, but they had pictures of like the mourning badges that were worn at his funeral. And there was like several different ones for different people. I think there was like 4 or 5 different ones, but I thought that was pretty cool. And while we're on the topic of Lincoln, I want to talk about his assassin, John Wilkes Booth. In his pockets, he had a compass, a candle, pictures of 5 women,
My
including
God.
actress Alice Gray and Helen Western, Effie Gurman, Fanny Brown, and his fiance, whose name was Lucy Hale.
Oh, like that actress.
Like the Pretty Little Liars girl.
Yeah. I'm so impressed with people using their pockets like this.
Girl, that's what they didn't have phones, so they had pictures.
Yeah.
Lucy Hale, the actress, one time came to a work event we were doing for Coachella, and we were like, oh, do you want to like come in our booth? And she said no.
She said, my lover, he's in
my lover
jail.
John Wilkes Booth has been murdered.
No, you triggered her. You said, you want to come in our booth? And she's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, Kurt Cobain, when he died, I guess they found $62 on his pocket and a flight ticket.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. Interesting. All this to say, pockets can tell you a lot about a person, but sometimes they can create a puzzle, and I have a crazy fucking story for you.
Ooh.
So back in June of 1999, the remains of a 41-year-old man named Ricky McCormick are discovered in a cornfield in Missouri.
Okay.
The body, super rough condition. The decomposition process had already started. His fingers had rotted away. And this man, they came to learn, had a pretty tumultuous life, sort of a vagabond lifestyle, but not really. I mean, he had dropped out of high school. And from what I've gathered, he moved around a little bit, but mostly stayed at his mom's house, even when he was 41. And he had a lot of different health problems, primarily with his heart and lungs at the time of his death. Also, very messy rap sheet. He wasn't married, but had 4 children, though some sources claimed 3. At one point, he had received a 3-year prison sentence for statutory rape, but he only served 11 months of that sentence. Anyway, that's just kind of a little bit of a background on this man. So on June 11th of 1999, they might have just chalked it up to a guy who had a rough life. Maybe he overdosed. Maybe he had a heart attack or something, but no. The woman who had seen his body and alerted authorities, like she calls 911. She's like, I see a body in this cornfield. And what was really weird was that he was 15 miles from his house when this happened, and he didn't have money. He didn't have a car or any way to get there, didn't have a job, and nobody could answer for why he might have been 15 miles away from the house. When the authorities got there, they searched his body immediately. You know, they're trying to find a wound, trying to find anything. They don't find anything. But as they continued searching, it unleashed this massive mystery because in his pocket was 2 folded up notes. And both of them had coded messages on them. Like almost like Zodiac Killer, like just complete code. And it turned into this huge whodunit. Like, we need to crack this code. And they did apparently do an autopsy on him, but the results were inconclusive. So they don't know how this man died. And that also makes it really important, right, for them to be able to figure out what these coded messages are.
Right.
And so they go to his family and they're like, like he couldn't even really write. I guess he was in fact illiterate according to his family, but they did say that he had been jotting down little things like that since he was a little kid.
Huh. Aliens?
Well, who knows? People have suggested that, well, people, keep in mind, not professionals, have suggested or alluded to the fact that he may have been autistic. But regardless, the authorities, they want to solve this code because they're like, well, what if on the off chance this is a homicide, we might be able to offer some information as to who was responsible, or at least why he was in the cornfield that day, 15 miles from home.
Right.
So the FBI, they spend over a decade trying to solve this, and they can't. And then in 2011, they made the notes public. I was reading about it, and one article said that his family said he could scarcely write. His mother, Frankie Sparks, told the Riverfront Times that police initially said the only thing in the pocket was an emergency room ticket, and the family didn't even learn about the coded notes until they were shown publicly in 2011. So
What?
Isn't that crazy? I'm like, if my family member was murdered and there was this possible clue, and you didn't mention anything about it to us until it became public news over a decade later. Crazy.
That is crazy.
His mom said now 12 years later, they come back with this chicken scratch shit. The only thing he could write was his name. He didn't write in no code. And his cousin Charles agreed. He couldn't spell anything, just scribble. So that makes it even more interesting because that alludes to maybe he didn't write these coded messages.
Maybe someone murdered him and put those codes in his pocket?
Or some suspect too, there's a theory that he was like maybe in charge of taking that message to somebody else because I guess he ran around with like a rougher crowd, maybe some drug traffickers in there. So
got it.
Who knows? It's interesting though, because there's a lot of people that have tried to like online break it down. And even I saw one from like a couple hours ago when I was doing my research, like on Reddit, like I think I cracked the code. But it's like pretty out there theories. We don't know. It could be very valuable information, the coded messages, or it could just be some fucking wild man's scribbles that he decided to write.
Scribble, yeah.
But no idea how he ended up in that cornfield, which is just so bizarre.
Wow. And since being public since 2012, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Nothing has... They've not gotten closer. God.
Which I'm like, oh, or I think maybe it was 2011 when they first released them. But I'm like, even then, I'm like, oh, that's just not that long ago. And then I'm like, actually, that is quite some time ago.
I know. It doesn't feel very long, but it is.
It sure is. Time is fucking flying. And then I was looking around trying to see if I could find like other things that were in people's pockets when they died. But that's a very niche topic. But I did come across a picture someone had posted of their grandpa's pockets. It was just interesting to see like little ID cards, a pack of Virginia Slims, a pocket watch, some pocket knives, a little medication list. It just makes you think like what are in our loved ones' pockets when they die? Like, because if someone does just drop dead, it's like, I don't know.
I know.
Interesting to go through. Like I remember, well, my mom, her purse got stolen. We don't know. We don't know what happened to it. Mm-hmm.
What? I did not know that.
Oh, she loved that purse. It was her little Louis Vuitton Speedy bag. She had just gotten it not long before. Nobody knows what happened to it.
Like so you don't have her wallet or her ID, like
no. So
like
I don't know what happened to. We don't know what happened to the purse, and we don't know if it was like when. Like, did she bring it to the like? No idea what happened to it.
Oh, that feels so violating.
I know.
I'm sorry. That feels terrible.
Like, where'd it go?
Where did it go? You know, I thought about when you were telling me about people's pockets, I thought about Jeremy Bentham. And you know, we love him on this show. Mm-hmm. He allegedly died with those because he wanted his head. You guys know the whole story, but he carried around glass eyeballs in his pocket.
Yes.
Just to be sure. So I thought about that.
That would be a good one. Yeah, no, that's a great callback. I completely had forgotten about that. But it's interesting. It's like how they say like your outfit you're wearing when you die is your ghost outfit forever. So like when you're getting dressed, you fucking make sure you like it.
Absolutely. And also I'm like, God, I would rather have things in my pockets than in my underpants.
Oh,
when you die, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Clean. Keep it clean.
Well, that was it. So now I think it's time. Well, actually, what a great thing to keep in your pocket would be your obituary.
True. Yeah. Keep it in your pocket. Keep it on a document. Share it with your family. Everything.
Yeah. Our families probably out of anyone have the most pressure in the world to give us a good obituary.
I know. Take the pressure off. Write your own.
Write your own.
Write your own. Well, I have an obituary that was sent in to us by a Geoff, and it says, "Hi Spencer, Madison, pups, and Madison's bearded dragon whose name I can't remember. Sorry." I saw this post and thought you guys would love it. Iceland lost its famous black sand beach, and my fiance and I were lucky enough to see it this past summer. It's crazy to think it was just there and now it's gone. This beach was also known for being extremely dangerous because of unpredictable waves. I've attached the obituary along with some pictures of what it looked like in June 2025. I love the show, and thank you for making my mornings fun before teaching 3 to 5-year-olds. Also, Spence, my family is from Red Boiling Springs, Tennessee, and you should research about the springs as they were believed to cure any illness.
I want to go there.
I know. You can use my name on the pod too. Much love, Morgan. Pronounced Morgan for Madison. Thank you. Spencer actually heard me before we started recording translating these names from Iceland. So just so you know, this is for Reynis Fjara.
Yep.
The Black Sand Beach, South Iceland. Birth, 3 million BC. Death, February 2026.
Damn.
With deep sorrow, we announce that our beloved Black Sand Beach, Reynisfjara, has left us after 3 million years of faithful service to the tourism industry. Strong easterly winds and treacherous Atlantic waves scattered her towards Dirholi in February 2026, thus ending her illustrious career as Iceland's most photographed beach. The deceased leaves behind lonely basalt columns, now helplessly protruding from the sea. A flooded Halseinscheller cave, confused tourists, and hundreds of tour guides who have lost the main highlight of their itinerary. Rest in the Atlantic, dear Reynisfjara. You will forever remain in our hearts and on the soles of our shoes. We will never forget you. Rest in peace, beach. It says hashtag Black Beach Down, erosion wins. The beach eroded, and the tourism industry wrote her an obituary.
R.I.P. Diva.
R.I.P. Beautiful. We'll post a bunch of pictures. Beautiful, beautiful black sand beach. So cool.
God.
But now she's gone.
Well, I also have an obituary from a Geoff, and they wrote, "Hi guys, I'm a longtime Geoff/cult babe, and I thought you guys might appreciate these interesting old-timey death notices/newspaper articles. I've attached several of them along with their respective dates and publications. Love you for that. I will have more if you're interested. Girl, we're interested. Always,
Yes.
you guys send us obituaries. Just
Please.
let me know, and I will compile another list. Thanks." Here's your notice, Diva. So I did steal these for my arsenal.
Oh, okay.
But this one came from the New York Herald, July 23rd, 1922. Lamp electrocutes couple in bathroom.
Oh,
Man
no.
killed trying to aid wife leaving tub. Frankfurt, Germany, July 22nd. A young married couple were electrocuted yesterday in the bathroom of their home. An investigation revealed that the zinc bathtub, a water pipe, and a portable metal lampstand figured in completing the electrical circuit that caused their deaths. The wife had grasped the lamp, which was of defective construction, with her wet hands as she was about to leave the tub and was immediately electrocuted. Since the pipe leading from the tub completed the circuit to the ground, the husband was killed when he took hold of the lamp trying to assist his wife. Burns on the woman's hand and body and on the man's fingers provided means of determining the cause of fatalities.
Oh my God. That's
Isn't
nuts.
that crazy?
A zinc? That's crazy. A zinc tub, too? It feels crazy to me. Like, I don't know. I'm used to porcelain.
Electrocuted.
God. What a
At least
terrible
they went out
accident.
together. Well, if we ever
I
find
know.
ourselves backed into a corner, girl, now we got another.
Another way out.
You're never going to catch us. Now that we know about the doomsday clock, Big Brother's watching, and you're not going to get us.
Big Brother is watching. Yep. But these people got caught.
Oh, good one, Maddie. Good one, Mads. Well, we have spun in our coffins.
We have bitched our obituaries.
Means it's time for some dumb. criminals. Who you got?
Okay, I have one. I do. I have one.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. I just laughed at this one. A scammer is gonna scam. And this is from, this is from 1998, which I love a throwback. This is DeseretNews.com. A Key West man was being held Friday in a bizarre case of alleged fraud involving a Swiss tourist, a tarot card reader, and a bowl of phony cash burned to appease evil spirits.
Oh.
Luis George, 61, was being held on $1 million bond at the Monroe County Jail after his arrest Thursday while authorities searched for his daughter-in-law and alleged partner, 41-year-old Paula Marion. Sheriff's Department spokeswoman Becky Herron said, Marion ran a tarot card and palm reading shop in a small house on the island's main tourist strip, historic Duval Street. She and George allegedly used fake money to convince a wealthy Swiss woman to pay more than $175,000 to appease the bad spirits around her, the sheriff's office said. George was the leader of a family of gypsies, Detective Chris Scott said. Marion has about 50 aliases and is currently using the nickname Peaches, Scott added.
Ooh.
The fraud allegedly began in the summer of 1995 when Marion befriended 52-year-old Yvonne Cavan of Switzerland with offers of free psychic readings. Marion allegedly convinced Cavan that she would have to put up $15,000 in cash to appease spirits she believed were plaguing her. The psychic pretended to loan Cavan the cash so it could be burned in a ceremonial bowl, but instead burned counterfeit money as Cavan watched, said the department. So she's like, I have the cash for you.
Smart.
You can pay me later. We're going to burn it. Yeah.
Ugh.
So smart. This was done in the backyard of the house at the dead of night with a few candles around. The bills were burned one at a time. Cavan later wired the psychic the equivalent amount of money to reimburse her. A few months later, Marion allegedly told Cavan she would have to put up even more money, $160,000, to appease the spirits again, and she and George loaned Cavan the sum, left it in a briefcase on the altar of a Miami church. Marion told the Swiss woman she could not look in the case or it would invalidate the ceremony, and that's it. They got caught, but I thought that was so wild, but kind of smart.
Yeah, I think the dumbass is the person giving a psychic or tarot reader $170,000 to burn.
Crazy.
Dumb.
Crazy.
Well, I have also a scammer, and so you're coming here in a couple of days.
Uh-huh.
And we are going to Graceland, which I'm so excited for.
So excited.
Well, I found this article from August of 2024 on PBS News, and it turns out that there is a woman. Well, let me just read you the article. It says, quote, a Missouri woman has been arrested on charges she orchestrated a scheme to defraud Elvis Presley's family by trying to auction off his iconic Graceland property before a judge halted the mysterious foreclosure sale.
What?
Lisa Janine Findley, 53, of Kimberling City, Missouri, falsely claimed that Presley's daughter pledged the property as collateral for a loan she failed to pay before she died last year, prosecutors said. She fabricated loan documents, published a bogus foreclosure notice in a Memphis newspaper announcing that Graceland would be auctioned off to the highest bidder, as if anyone would fucking just believe that. Imagine seeing Graceland at the auctions.
Whoa.
An attorney for Findley, who used multiple aliases, was not listed in court documents, and a telephone number was not immediately available in public records. In May, a public notice for a foreclosure sale of the 13-acre estate said that Promenade Trust, which controls the Graceland Museum, owes $3.8 million after failing to repay a 2018 loan. Riley Keough, Presley's granddaughter and an actor, inherited the trust and ownership of the home after the death of her mother, Lisa Marie Presley, last year. Keough filed a lawsuit claiming fraud, and a judge halted the proposed auction with an injunction.
The fact that that it got that far is crazy.
Crazy. Well, it says Nosany Investments and Private Lending said Lisa Marie Presley had used Graceland as collateral for the loan, according to the foreclosure sale notice. Keogh's lawsuit alleged that Nosany presented fraudulent documents regarding the loan in September of 2023 and that Lisa Marie Presley had never borrowed money from Nosany. Kimberly Philbrick, the notary whose name is listed on the documents, indicated she's never met Lisa Marie Presley nor notarized any documents for her, according to the estate's lawsuit. Jenkins, the judge, said the notary's affidavit brings into question the authenticity of the signature, but obviously not fucking real. And obviously it's insane to try and auction off a house that you do not have any proper ownership of.
Just the people that come out of the woodwork when somebody dies is just insane. And I can't even imagine on the level of Elvis, like how many lawsuits they've had to go through. It's crazy.
Before we go, should we tell them a little bit of good news?
Yes.
A little bit
of. I'm so excited.
A little hot goss.
A little hot goss.
Okay. So, as you guys know, about, was it 2 years ago?
Almost,
year and a half ago? We put out a podcast called Gossip's Bridal, and it was named after a torture device, the Gossip's Bridal, which they used to put on gossips and past, whatever. You've heard all the torture device stories. But that show, our first season that we put out, was all about some of the forefathers and foremothers of gossip.
Mm-hmm.
We have debated what we wanted to do with the show because we loved the first season, but we also know that like you guys kind of just want to hang with us. Like you didn't want us so buttoned up and formal.
Right. Which such a compliment. Thank you.
Love. And you know what? I feel like that's the best place for us. So we've really debated about like, okay, what do we want to do with it? Well, it kind of just hit us one day. We're like, we love to gossip. We love pop culture. We love just to talk about anything and everything. And so we decided that Gossip's Bridal is coming back with a whole new vibe. She is going to be a weekly podcast.
Woo! I'm so excited.
We're going to just be gossiping and fucking talking shit, you guys. It's going to be chill. It's going to be pure us, no scripts, no, just fucking us. And I think I'm just so excited that we get to hang out for another recording session every week, to be honest.
I know. It's like, it's everything that we want to talk about on here too, but it would be a 5-hour episode.
Yeah.
So it's, all the stuff that's maybe not death related, but that's pop culture. And I'm just so excited that we get to have a scheduled hangout once a week and just dive into whatever's going on in the news and on the planet. I'm so excited.
Everything. Because there's stuff we want to talk about too, diabolical stuff that I'm like, we can't talk about, like we wouldn't talk about it on either Cult Leader or Obituary because it just doesn't make sense for the shows and we'll get too sidetracked. So this is a third place for us to have that outlet. We're so excited. So if you haven't already subscribed to the show, subscribe to the show. There'll be a YouTube channel for it as well. Gossip's Bridal Podcast. And
we will be filming it.
Yeah, we're filming it for YouTube. We're both so freaking excited for it. And that the first episode will be out on Saturday. So
yay!
Check it out. We'll be recording it in person too because we get to see each other for the next 2 weeks in a row.
I know. I'm so happy about that.
Thank God.
Also, the Gossip's Bridal is we are going to record it like a day or two before it goes out. So it's going to be up to date on the money, honey.
Yep. There's no waiting period. There's also no editors. So get scared.
I'm scared. I know.
And that's the gossip. I'm so fucking excited.
What a good feeling to release that. To announce
We've wanted to forever. Well, because there was also even a time where we were like, God, I wish we had another podcast that we could talk about this. Or I wish we had a podcast where we could talk about this. I'm like, oh, actually,
she's sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
So
we're unleashing the bridal baby.
oh, we're taking it off, honey. Taking it off.
And telling it all.
Uh-huh.
So that is the good news. If you're not sick of us already, you'll have a whole new show to listen to. We'll see you this weekend, we can say.
We'll see you Saturday.
But that's it for this week. We'll be back next week. Don't worry. We'll still always be here every Thursday to tell you about some more coffin spinners.
And obituaries.
And dumb
ass
criminals.
criminals.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.